We now continue with Smurf.
It's coming up to around 2 years now since this happened to me, and I think I'm just finally processing it enough to feel comfortable to share it. Sharing it here feels less risky than talking to my friends or my parents. I don't want anyone else to get hurt because of my loose lips. I've noticed a string of people coming forward in the last year or so, especially on this board, and although most have been laughed at and not believed, I almost feel like it's my duty now to shine a light on this and not let it remain covered up. I'm sure I will have a knock on my door by the time I press post. I will stop with the vague posting. This is regarding the event that some people have started calling the Miami Mall alien incident, which took place at the Bayside Marketplace in Miami. I know that it's been officially debunked, but I would not trust things like that. Just like anyone can come on here and claim to be some insider with super secret knowledge, people can so easily claim to be behind something and proclaim it to be fake, especially if they have an incentive to do so. For those unaware somehow, on the 1st of January 2024, there was a police report filed and a phone call to 911 made. Officially, the caller noted that teenagers were setting off fireworks inside the mall and aiming them at people. They were apparently causing explosions and making people frightened. Hundreds of police officers turned up within minutes of this call. If you don't live in Miami, let me tell you, this is not normal. You could be held at gunpoint in your own home, and the police do not give a shit. They will turn up when they feel like it. This was hundreds of officers and tons of squad cars, with even reports of a SWAT team being spotted in the area, but that was never reported in any official capacity. Shortly after this, news leaked online about 10-foot-tall shadow figures appearing in the mall, causing chaos, injuring and scaring people. Social media went crazy, and for one single day it was everywhere. The day after, not a single person was talking about it. You could not find a single stray mention of it on any social media site, as if it had all been scrubbed clean. You would try to post on social media, public forums, anywhere, and people either asked you what the hell you were talking about, or just straight up called you crazy. Or you were ignored. Or your post mysteriously got 0 views in hours, usually as a result of a shadow ban due to certain keywords. Then people on fringe forums like this started to remember. People looked up news articles, and they all had these weird discrepancies. One place reported teens setting off fireworks. Some articles blamed it on a group of black teenagers fighting. Others said every single aspect was a hoax and that the police showed up for a false report. I think I even saw one news article mentioning a man carrying a firearm unconcealed and threatening people verbally. The point is, no one could get their story straight. And then these stories come out anonymously, all different stories about aliens and whatnot. I'm still not sure if they were by immensely confused people or if they were there to poison the well. But conveniently after these started being posted, this random YouTuber uploaded a video and claimed to be behind the entire story. It was all him apparently. Case closed. Everyone believed him without a single question. But why did the police turn up then? Why so many and why so quickly? How did he make so many major news publications pick up the story? Sorry for the rambling intro. I just felt I needed to adequately inform people for this story to make sense. Almost 2 years ago, I was about 18 years old. I had graduated high school a few months ago now, and my parents were angry with me because I had no qualifications and no prospects and no boyfriend. I very reluctantly got a job at the Bayside Marketplace, at Build-A-Bear of all places. It was a shitty, annoying job, and I felt like such a loser. Anyway, I was working the day that it happened. I can't remember exactly what time everything went down, but I remember it was starting to get dark outside. Anyway, I was working the day that it happened. I can't remember exactly what time everything went down, but I remember it was starting to get dark outside. I only had one other person on shift with me that day, and we had to handle a massive wave of customers, so I was exhausted. I remember every time the store emptied, even if it was just for a minute or two, I would collapse on the floor in the back and try and rest. So it's one of these times, and I am just sitting in the back, and I start to hear this weird sound, kind of like a static electricity. I hear it faintly, then it gets a little bit louder. Then I feel this sudden jolt in my body, and my leg goes wonky and spasms a little while I am sitting down. It was only for a split second, then the lights in the back started to flicker on and off randomly for about a minute straight, and I got fed up and just got up and went over to my coworker to complain. I was getting ready to start moaning to her. I don't know why they put 2 girls on shift with so many customers and no one else to help, but I noticed that she was nowhere to be seen. The door to the store is usually closed, and it rings a bell when you open it to let you know that a customer is here if you were in the back. It was now pinned open outwards and pushed right up against the window glass. I could hear that static electricity sound out here now too, and the light started flickering in here. There were no people walking past outside, whereas before there were tons of people walking by all the time. I could not hear the usual sounds of people talking and shouting and laughing and kids running around. I walked outside to take a look down the stairs that overlook some more shops and a different part of the mall down below. There are people down there, but there is no sound coming from anywhere. I immediately noticed these things or figures or aliens, I don't know what to call them. They weren't these shadow figures like everyone describes. They were tall, but not abnormally so, maybe around 6 feet or so. Their skin was all the same block color mostly, this weird pale blue kind of color, but with patches of this pure black over different parts of the body. One patch on the elbows, partially on the face, etc. I think that's where the confusion maybe comes from. The fear distorts memories, and since that stands out the most, that is what people remember. I only remember this so clearly because it's before my fight or flight kicked in, when I thought it was maybe some weird light show I didn't know that was planned. I mean, what can I say? Miami is a weird place. There is always things going on. There are probably 3 of these figures scattered throughout the mall, standing over people. Their legs look insanely strong. Instead of feet, they have these blocks that look like concrete blocks with these wide toe-like things connected to them that are planted into the ground. Even though I am a bit away, I can actually see cracks in the ground where their feet are planted. These people they are standing over are not moving. The lights in the entire place are flickering intermittently, and I can hear that static sound right in my ear now. Some of these people are on the floor against a wall, some lying flat, some standing upright, some cradled in a ball, but none are moving. And they are almost glowing. This really faint white hue is around them, but I don't know if my mind made that up, or if maybe my eyes were just tired and confusing other bright lights. I see one of these alien things turn. It looks directly at me. This is where my fear kicks in. I am thinking, holy crap, I need to find Sarah, my coworker. I need to see if she is okay. I need to escape. I need to tell someone. Just this rush of thoughts all at once. I start to feel the ground shake and hear this pounding and crunching sound as it happens. I start running, and as I do, I see this thing walking straight up the wall. It has its feet drilled into the wall and is scaling it, and it is moving quickly. I run and I run, but I trip and I lose my footing, and I fall over the side of the no longer working escalator that I was trying to run up. There are supposed to be barriers in place to stop this, bigger barriers, but the government are useless. I close my eyes as I am falling, and I just wait to feel the pain or for my mind and my vision to go blank. But I don't feel any rush of air. I don't feel any impact. I open my eyes, and I am now kneeling on the ground where the other people were, looking up at one of these things. I can't move an inch of my body. I can't close my eyes back up again. And I hear this voice inside of my head. It's really soft and gentle. It sounds so almost human, but it is a mix of 7 different accents that it keeps switching between, before it eventually stabilizes and settles on a local male accent, except it's a little bit deeper, and every time I hear it in my head, I feel that static electricity feeling run throughout my entire body. It says my name. How does it know my name? It tells me not to be scared, that it's sorry for how sudden everything is, but that this is the only way. It starts talking about loads of things that I don't really understand, and I don't really know how to explain. Something about the earth not being right. Something about the government lying and taking advantage of us. All I know is that again and again and again, it kept saying that they were there to help, but that this was the only way that they could, that they were angry. Angry that this place is wrong. It said something like that verbatim. It asked me to trust it, to trust that I would be safe. Bear in mind this whole time I have heard no sounds aside from the alien talking and its footsteps. When I was running away, I did not hear my own. I did not hear myself screaming when I fell, even though I felt it, and I know I did it. I did not hear any of the outside world. But all of a sudden in my head, I hear this really loud pop, like a balloon popping but louder, and I get this incredible headache all of a sudden. And then all at the same time, the sounds of the world come rushing back in. The first thing I hear are police sirens, and then gunshots. My ears were suddenly ringing. I think at the same time I heard that pop in my head, I saw a bullet hit this thing and rip flesh, but it didn't seem harmed. I'm not sure. It's so hard to properly remember. The second I could, I wrote down everything I could remember on physical paper when I got home and hid it and tried to keep thinking about it every single day. But the memory has become fainter and fainter the longer time has gone on. The second all these sounds came back, the facial expression of this alien changed, and it immediately shot a look at the entrance of the mall. Basically, all of these next events are just a blur. I think even when they were happening, they were all shaky and going in and out of focus like I was drunk or drugged or something. I could feel blood dripping down my nose, even some in my ears. I thought maybe I'd been shot at one point, but I didn't die, so that could not have been it. Everything I am about to tell you, I only know because it is what I have from my notes from the first day that I got home. In my head it's just a blur, and I only have a faint memory of even remembering, if that makes sense. These cops or SWAT or whatever they are armed, start swarming in. There is a lot of them. They are sweeping and trying to secure the area. The alien who talked to me looks furious. All of the people who were on the ground are back to reality now. People are realizing what is happening. They are processing. They are seeing blood. They are seeing these things. They are hearing guns being fired. They get up and scramble and start just running, and I do too. There is just firing happening non-stop. I saw a lady wearing a hijab get shot in the lower body while trying to carry her child away to safety. The police shouted for people to flee, but they did not try all that hard. There were more cops there waiting to grab them, waiting behind these shooting cops, I think. I managed to run and slink behind one of those tiny concrete walls with the shitty fake plants and trees or whatever. A guy was running next to me, and I hear his scream disappear, and I think he got shot too. I don't know. I am watching these aliens. I can see how angry they are. I can see these veins starting to appear all over their bodies, and one of them just starts screaming. This really shrill, high-pitched scream that makes my head hurt. And they start talking, but really talking this time, not in my head. I don't know if this is verbatim, but what I have written down here is that the alien started talking to the officers while they just kept on shooting. They said something about humanity rejecting their kindness with violence too many times. This is when they started to... I don't even know how to say it without sounding like a nut job, but distort reality? Like the air in front of them? Time? My body suddenly feels heavier, and every movement I make, Even just breathing or blinking or moving my hand over my mouth seems to take twice as long, if not longer. Every single blink feels like a sleep. The aliens don't even move, but I can see things in front of them start to change shape. All they are doing is looking, but I can see this one soldier nearest to the front start to stretch. It's like when you're at a carnival and you are going into that place with the wacky mirrors, where you are longer and taller in one, but shorter in the other. The soldier became like that, the taller one. It wasn't instant. It took what seemed like hours to my mind, just watching his legs stretch and expand, watching the expression in his face slowly change from pure horror to crying, to begging, to closed eyes, to empty. His screams are distorted too. They echo through the air and are slowed down. I hear him scream as it looks like he is being pulled apart from all angles, like being drawn by a horse. And it keeps going, and his scream gets worse and worse until time goes back to normal again. And in the space of 1 second, it's like I see 100 seconds worth of things all at once, like a sped up videotape. And I see the SWAT guy or officer or whatever just split apart. Blood everywhere. Parts everywhere. Things I didn't even know were inside the body are everywhere. They did this to more than one. I think they did other things, but I can't remember, and I didn't write it down. But I know they did more than that. Then the officers start to run back out of the room, towards where the civilians fled, and they seal the doors. The second this happened, I see these 3 aliens run, but they did not make any of those loud sounds or make the ground shake this time. They did not cause any damage to the ground when they ran. I saw them run around the corner close by, and I know I should not have done it, but I crawled along the ground and followed from very far away. I could not even stand up because my legs were too shaky, but I dragged myself along the floor, and I saw them change into regular people, like you or me, like regular shoppers. It wasn't a gradual shift, it was like all at once. 1 second alien, the next second person, sped up like a videotape, like with the guy. One of them, God, I remember shaking while writing this, but I barely remember it in my head. But I remember one of them looked like Sarah. They were wearing the uniform. She spotted me, the alien, as her. They didn't even do anything to me. It just put its finger up to its mouth and shushed me, and I had to cover my mouth with both hands to stop myself from screaming. I started hyperventilating, but I remember they changed themselves again. The one who was Sarah gave itself a gunshot wound. It just made a hole appear in the head, and then it laid down and played dead. The other one made this red trail appear on the floor, and it went and laid down against a wall. Shortly after, I remember hearing footsteps flooding in, people being carried out by people in uniforms, and then I passed out, probably from shock. When I woke up, I was being detained. Said I was a key witness or something. They grilled me for hours and hours, non-stop. I tried to ask for a lawyer, to ask why I was being held, but they just ignored me. They didn't even allow me a drink of water or any kind of medical attention. They looked scary. There were so many people in that room, all just to grill a young girl. I explained everything I saw, like I said here. I said everything except the last thing I saw, about them lying down. At the time, I was convinced I hallucinated all of it, but now I'm not so sure. I just broke down in tears and begged for them to leave me alone. For the first time in years, I begged for my mom. I remember just going on autopilot after that for however many hours they had me there. I remember they gave me some kind of medical exam that they did not even ask me for permission for. Took blood and vitals and everything. I remember at some point after the exams I passed out again. I don't even know why. And when I woke up again, I was not being detained. I was back at home. I woke up on a lawn chair in my backyard and it was nice and sunny outside. I asked my parents what gives, but they said that I was out here when they woke up. Figured I was tired from last night's shift and needed time to rest. I pressed them on that, and they just said they heard it was busy and that there was some commotion. What I don't get is how this thing has been debunked, but no one from that day has any footage, any photos, any memories, no CCTV footage. You'd think that no one was there that day. No videos or photos of people at the mall, no receipts of purchases on that day, nothing. What the hell happened? Maybe I did go crazy and imagine it all. Maybe it was some kind of mass psychotic outbreak and everyone telling me stories is just a lunatic. Maybe I'm just a nutjob who had a mental break. There is one last detail that trips me out though. I obviously did not quit my job on the spot. Sarah had apparently quit because of that day. Said she couldn't handle the stress and that I was not pulling my weight. Gee, thanks Sarah. But the layout of the mall, I thought maybe I was just tired, but it's different now. And I don't mean some shops have closed down and moved or whatever. The entire layout of the mall was entirely different, but no one mentions it. No one in real life has any idea what I am talking about. And if you go back and look at all these stories people are posting, the layout is different in each and every single one of them. I think I'm losing my mind. I don't even know if I want people to believe me. I don't know what I want. I think I just want peace of mind that I am not crazy. Hey, hope you've enjoyed the story so far. If you want to hear more, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment because it lets YouTube know you like the content and helps more people to see these videos. My next big goal for the channel is 100,000 subscribers, and as a celebration, I will be doing a Q&A video once we hit that goal. Thank you, and back to the stories. This is my story. I am a truck driver. At the time that this happened to me, I have been doing this for years, too many to count really. On a usual, typical day, I would just be hauling frozen meat, produce, sometimes weird stuff, but never anything too crazy. Never anything that's like that you bat your eye at. The dispatcher calls me. He says he's got an easy run for me. Now those words are music to my ears. That is what I like to hear. I pick up a reefer trailer outside of Denver. I drop it in Albuquerque. No stops, no questions. Everything runs really smoothly. He says it's good money, light paperwork. He tells me that all I have to do is get it there fast, and then he gives me my deadline. It sounds almost too good to be true, but whatever. I really need the cash. I show up at the lot, and the lot is dead quiet. There are no other trucks around at all in this lot. Just the one that I would be hauling. And just this one dude in a jacket who is smoking. He doesn't even tell me his name. There are no introductions. He just hands me this clipboard and tells me to get on with it. He tells me, don't open the back, no matter what you do. Keep it running. Drop it at the address specified. They will handle the rest. His eyes linger on me, way longer than I like he wants to tell me something else but doesn't. The trailer is already running. There is a heavy padlock on the back doors. I walk around, slap the side. There is cold air hissing out of it. The reefer is humming way louder than usual. I turn back to the guy and I ask him what's inside. He says meat and other frozen stuff. I've hauled frozen beef before, nothing special. I decide to get out on the road and get to it. The first 100 miles are really boring. There are mountains behind me, nothing but desert ahead of me. No other people on the road, just me and the radio. But the reefer keeps cycling really high. It is roaring like every 20 minutes. It's below freezing outside. The truck should not be working that hard. After a while, I stop for fuel. I head to the back and check the lock. It's still on there, but when I touch the lock, the metal feels really warm. It's weird, but maybe the unit is just old, can't keep up anymore. I get back inside my truck. I see a state trooper at the mini-mart. I think about saying something to him. I just have a bad feeling, but I don't want to look like an idiot. I mean, what am I going to tell him? I decide to keep going. I am probably just tired. I am about 3 hours into the desert now. Then I start hearing this banging from the trailer. At first it's faint. I think maybe I've just hit a pothole. But then it gets louder, rhythmic, like someone is inside and rapping some kind of code. I grip the wheel, my knuckles are white. I am trying my best to ignore it. I was told no matter what, not to open it, and I figure it's best not to get involved. I tell myself it's just the cargo shifting from side to side, but I obviously know better, having hauled so much. I pull over at a turnout with my flashers on. The wind is howling now. I walk back with my flashlight. My hands are visibly shaking. The reefer is screaming. The door is vibrating. The padlock is still on, but there are fresh scratches near the latch. Something has been clawing at it from the inside. My stomach drops. I think about calling up my dispatch, but what would I even say? Hey, your frozen beef is knocking on the door. They would laugh me off the job. Another thud rings out. The padlock jumps right in front of me. This is way above my pay grade. I slam the cab door, lock everything, and just get back on the highway. Every single mile that passes by, the banging gets worse. About 2 hours later, my nerves are shot. I pull into an abandoned way station. It's dead quiet. There are busted scales and graffiti everywhere. I shut the engine down. I sit there sweating, even though it is freezing outside. Then I hear these voices, these muffled voices, and they sound like they're calling for help. And that's it, I can't pretend anymore. I grab a crowbar and I head to the back. Everything in me is screaming to just leave it locked, but I can't. I jam the crowbar under the padlock and I pry it until it pops. The door swings open. This cold vapor pours out of the back. It stinks of ammonia and rot. I shine my light inside and I see these shapes huddled together. These aren't stacked boxes or meat or anything like that. There are people in here. There are 6 people in here under thin blankets. Their skin has already turned blue from the cold. One guy stumbles out towards me, gasping that he can't breathe. The reefer has been running too hard and choking them with fumes. I pull him out of the truck and lay him on the ground. The others are much too weak to move. I realize that if I had not stopped, they would be dead by morning. I ask who locked them in. The guy just shakes his head at me. I call 911. My hands are shaking. I tell them what happened. The dispatcher tells me that help is on the way, says it will be 10 to 15 minutes to get out to my location. I see headlights in the distance. Not one, but 3 different vehicles pulling in fast. My blood goes cold. Whoever put them in there is not done with me. I think maybe they had a sensor on the back that tells them if I opened it. I think shit. I run back to the cab. The guy on the ground reaches for me, but I cannot stay. There is SUVs and a pickup truck closing in. I see shadows moving inside. There are multiple people inside these vehicles. I fire up the rig and slam it into gear, trailer doors hanging open, cold fog streaming outside the back. The headlights are getting closer to me, weaving across both lanes. If they box me in, I am done. I see a green glow up ahead. It's an exit sign for a small town. I take the rampart. My trailer brakes are screaming. The SUV tries to get alongside me. I edge him into the gravel and he backs off. I see the town lights on the horizon. I see gas stations, motels, a diner. I hit the edge of the town and yank the air horn. I do not let up. People start to turn to look at me. These porch lights flick on as I go past. The county cruiser at the gas station whips out. The SUVs peel off. They disappear into the dark. I pull into the diner lot, kill the brakes with my heart pounding. The deputy barely has any time to ask what is going on before I am dragging him to the trailer. Within 20 minutes, the place is swarming. Ambulances, cops, EMTs, you name it, they pull people out, wrapped them in blankets. Some are barely conscious. The rig is still idling, reefer howling until a cop shuts it off. They asked me 100 questions, 1,000 questions. Who gave me the load? Where was it going? Why didn't I call them sooner? All I can say is that I took the job, didn't ask questions. I almost became an accessory to murder or trafficking or whatever. I never found out who they were, either the people who gave me the job or the people in the back. The cops said it was some coyote operation, smuggling people. These people were from all different places. None of them had one thing in common. I still have nightmares about the banging. I sometimes wonder what would have happened if I had not stopped. I guess I'll never know, but I'm not making that mistake ever again.